The Aryan Brotherhood. God forgives, brothers don't. This is the motto of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, which was founded in the TDCJ. Originally, it was a reaction to the desegregation of the Texas justice system. In 1982, this movement was formalized by David Rushing, Art Wells, Richard Rex, Harry Bosco, Wagner, and Jack Doby. The name Aryan Brotherhood of Texas identifies it as separate from the Aryan Brotherhood National Organization and the neo-Nazis. There are other organizations that use the Aryan Brotherhood name. This merely differentiates them from them. The Aryan Brotherhood of Texas has over 500 members confirmed and over 700 to 900 more suspected. There are even as possibly as many as 1,600, as reported by the Department for the Poverty Law. It was formed to take back prisons from the minority prisoners who flooded into jails, and indeed caused many to worry and form a reactionary group. Their colors are red and black, with the gold representing the 5-point crown, which is representative of the steering wheel of the organization. Many of the members have received applications. However, there are requirements for membership, such as having been convicted of a quote-unquote real felony and served prison time for such. Any time in the federal prison counts as well. Any prisoner within the system receives an NCIC number. The NCIC number will then be placed on an application. If the application is accepted, the applicant, or the prospect as they are then called, must then sign a blind faith commitment and take a written or oral test. The only exception to the prison time rule is if an applicant or prospect has a DNA family member in good standing within the organization that has paid their monthly dues, and indeed, in order to avoid issues such as with Al Pacino very famously in the 1920s, have paid all of their taxes. Even on illegal proceeds, all taxes must be paid. Sometimes the members will refer to themselves, even within their own constitution, as Peckerwoods. This is, of course, another proof that while the organization is very proud of themselves, they are also willing to remain in the shadows and keep themselves out. Recently in Tarrant County, one James Lamarck Birdman Bird, who was arrested on November 14th of 2015, was a very proud member. He had been initiated during his time in a federal prison. He was noted for being very organized and very helpful to other prisoners. As such, he was employed after he left prison to organize and help rehabilitate prisoners for the real world. However, he had used his knowledge and his loyalty to the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas when he found a member who had not been religiously attending the meetings, tied the man up with chains, bound him, stripped him naked, and then stabbed him 37 times. After being stabbed, he took a loaf of bread, soaked the bread in the blood, and tore it in half. Upon tearing it in half, he fed half, forcibly, to his victim, and ate half of him himself. He said that this was in order to show that this is how brothers should live, as part of one another, and reminded the victim that this was not an unusual thing for him to do, going on to state that if it's not brutal, it's not his way. Mr. Bird exhibited further violent actions by, after being released, and before being found about stabbing the fellow member, he let one man bleed out and die. Some members describe Mr. Bird as a religious member, overly zealous, bordering on the theological. Mr. Bird has been arrested and detained for his crimes. In this end, the Texas-wide initiative has been put in place. Texas is looking to stamp out the Aryan Brotherhood, but we will get more into that later. It is being overseen by the Southern Poverty Law Center providing statistics, and it is being executed by the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Commission. Here we have an example of the blind faith commitment. While it does have very strong wording, it is an official document within their organization. As you can see here below, Each applicant or prospect must have a sponsor and a witness in order to join the Brotherhood. In order to further their goal, the Aryan Brotherhood put in place a constitution. Here we have a section of the Constitution. This Constitution ensures that all penalties are pursuant to the crimes against the Brotherhood, as seen fit by the Brotherhood itself. At the top of this organization is the Steering Committee, or the Wheel. It is composed of 5 generals that each has a specific area. Each member of the Steering Committee controls all free world and prisoner members within their organization. While Mr. Byrd was a very high-ranking individual, he was only a major within this organization. He took it upon himself to punish his brethren for their misdeeds. Here we see the structure of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, with a steering committee or general at the top, working its way down all the way to prospects. A sister organization of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas is the Featherwoods, females who are with members of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. While the Featherwoods must follow the Constitution, they do have their own chain of command. However, it ends in major. The only person within the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas that does have true power over them is a general. They are not to be used as fighting members or members who dispense the justice of the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, but they must support their male counterparts and establish legitimate means of income. They are not the property of other brethren, and they can only be disciplined by other Featherwoods or sisters. The Aryan Brotherhood of Texas patch is a shield with a Nordic dagger running through it, with a swastika upon it. This is to symbolize the swift justice, or the swift vendetta, or the swift violence they feel is justified in their organization. The swastika to represent their history, their heritage, and their belief in the supremacy of the Aryan race, and of course the shield, for brethren stick together and defend other brethren at all cost. Above the shield are the letters A and B, signifying Aryan Brotherhood. Under the shield, of course, is the word Texas. As we discussed earlier, it is to differentiate them from the true Aryan Brotherhood. In more recent times, the A and B have been changed to the Roman numerals 1 and 2 to signify the first and second letters of the alphabet. Alternatively, those who receive this patch do have the numbers 112% in place of the A and B. This is to signify a quote-unquote true bloodline. While it is optional to get the tattoo, many choose to wear it, not only for distinction after they get out of prison, but also to distinguish themselves amongst other prisoners, to identify themselves for protective and offensive purposes. Some may choose not to get the tattoo, as they may be detected by criminal justice personnel. In order to do this, they would truly know the ramifications within the justice system. The membership has been monitored by the Southern Poverty Law Center, and according to them, between 1986 and today, the membership has decreased from 2,600 to a suspected 1,500. Most question is then, what are we to do about this plague amongst Texans? There are several solutions, the first of which to be to increase awareness about the organization, most notably their negative effect upon society. For if we as a society are not able to accept our own members, how then would we be able to truly handle the issues facing those who would harm society for a quote-unquote pure bloodline? Furthermore, we must increase awareness of the negative effect this institution has on its members. Before we mention the case with Mr. Byrd, the organization is more than willing to spill the blood of its own in order to further its own cause, in order to further its own goals. And without repentance, and as Mr. Byrd said, if it's not brutal, it's not their way. Furthermore, as a deterrent for joining the Aryan Brotherhood, and indeed as a true statement of how we feel about these people, we must increase the penalty pursuant to the RICO statute. The RICO statute was founded in the 70s. However, Perhaps it has been outdated. If we increase this penalty, it would truly send a message to those members who believe that they are able to be above the law, so that they can prove themselves right. Furthermore, we can educate the populace on these brethren. Mr. Bird, in an interview, stated, "There's one in every town. You may not see them. They're not all skinheads. But they are there." By educating ourselves on what they do, who they are, how they operate, and their organization, perhaps we can truly decrease that number from the reported 1,600 to none in the near future. Thank you.